listening to the Questionnaire.
Say that again.
You're listening to the Questionnaires.
I've just started.
Right here, for your ears, for your eyes.
The Questionnaire.
Get your comic on.
Poke it out, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.
Let me get this in. All right. There have been dark ages before. Yeah, and there actually was recently one over here on the Questionnaires. Kind of nuts, man. We played some D&D, had Alan Henry, chilling up in there, Dave Milburn, as well as Shiro Gautier, and then Hannibal's like, hey, dragon. Like, right off the bat. We barely even got into the game, and Hannibal throws a dragon out. It was really, 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 really mean. But, I don't think our co-host tonight will be that mean. I don't think she's going to DM either. I don't know, though. Based on the pre-show, I could feel this being one of those interviews where I don't talk a lot either, and I'm fine with that. I am the unknown factor. This is the Questionnaire, ladies and gentlemen. And tonight we've got just a heck of a show, man. We do, with a phenomenal artist. But before that, there's a phenomenal writer in the house who we're going to pick on her work on our next quest. But today, she's going to be co-hosting Erica Schultz back in the house.
Hello. And I get to interview one of my favorite people, one of my closest friends in comics, and a lovely person who actually used to be my neighbor. That's how we met.
I love you. Hi.
I love you too, darling.
Well, you might as well introduce her at that point, Erica.
What?
You might as well introduce them at that point.
Oh, my apologies. The lovely, the incredible, the wonderfully talented Liana Kangas, artist, writer, creator, drummer, animator, colorist, all of the things. Best
Will you write my eulogy?
You're never dying.
That's true. I am immortal.
You are.
And ever existing.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me on. And also, this is a great surprise that you're co-hosting, which I only just found out
like yesterday when I texted you.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I guess maybe there's like 2 interviews at the same time or something. So this was like a wonderful surprise.
We like to try and keep it interesting over here at the Quest. It is a goal, as well as I've been privileged to the fact that the individuals that are the co-hosts and the rotating co-hosts on this show are very, very talented creators in their own. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Erica, Steven, Vlad, Scott, and then, well, Dave's actually creating a comic book, but he also works at a comic book store, so he's my local comic book guy. So he is the only co-host that isn't a creator, but he's actually working on it. I've seen some stuff from him, but that's a whole other point altogether.
Well, there you go. I always say anybody can create comics if they want to, but not everybody can do this thing for a living.
Yeah. I will say, picking Erica as a co-host to interview me is the best way to learn all my secrets. So
no, I'm keeping everything in the vault. You know that. You know that.
Or at least to get me to open it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
getting
Erica,
my eyebrows plucked on Liana's couch.
That's true. It's a wild Friday night. Oh,
it was.
Didn't we watch?
We watched Andor.
It was the first episode that came out.
The first episode of Andor.
and,
and you got so angry because we were trolling it, and you were like, "Guys, come on!"
Yeah,
because we were just like
nerd, like, "God damn it, shut up!"
We're like nerds in space. Even though that's like my favorite Star Wars show, that's been on Disney Plus, and AJ got so angry at me that I watched the first episode with you and I didn't watch it with him. I was like, well,
sorry, AJ.
And I was with Liana, so like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah. Also, it's me. It's not like it's some random person.
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Yeah, we've literally had holidays together. We've had Christmases together. We've had. We've had Thanksgivings together. We've slept with each other's
birthdays.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, I mean.
You always let me crash with you now all the time for anything. It's great.
Pretty much, yeah. So.
No, wait. You said you guys lived really close previously. Where do you both?
We used to be neighbors, yeah.
Yeah, do you use that for cons as far as crashing at one another at points, or are you not that far away?
Yeah. No, I mean, now we do because Liana's in Tennessee and I'm still in Jersey. So
And if there's any way I can convince any con or like shop to fly Erica out, I'm like, hello, please would you invite Erica so I can pick her up from the airport and then have her stay at my house and we can hang out and, can cook her food and,
yeah, and eat donuts from Gibson's.
Oh my God. I'm so happy I got to I feel like there was some of the things in Memphis we got to do before some stuff closed. You got to see the Agro Center before they moved the convention to downtown. Gibson's, key, important. That's like one of the top tier things you have to do in Memphis.
What was that weird place that we went to, that weird wildlife place where that guy jumped in the giant tank?
Oh, the Bass Pro Shop, the largest
Bass
Bass Pro Shop pyramid, where a guy literally jumped into the fish tank.
Why? I don't know, because
it's Bass Pro Shop.
Bass Pro
It's one of the wonders of the world, in case anyone was curious. How many wonders are there? There's 9, 13, something.
48.
It's like the 9th layer of hell, I will say. But I love it. So.
We were totally unprepared when we went in there. We were just like, what? And they have it's the Bass Pro Shop, and yet they have this whole section where they have they sell sweets and homemade fudge.
Mm-hmm. There's a Wahlburger.
Yeah, it was very, very strange.
Wait, you don't know that bit? Anywhere in any kind of Midwestern, Southern, anything like that, where they have an area where they sell. I mean, now this is in the case of it's a larger chain store. I mean, there are smaller places that are just bait shops, but even those tend to have a selection of sweets within them. But when it's a larger one, they have an entire selection of just goodies and treats. They do. And
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. Well, that, if you think about it more than anything, if you're going in and you're getting, say, fishing gear, this and that, tent, whatever, rifle, whatever you may need, and you have your kids with you, there are those sweets for the children. That is the purpose of it.
My nonna was the deli lady at the Acme in town, and all the parents loved her because when the parents would come in, they would go straight to the deli counter, and my nonna would ask them in very broken English what they wanted, and she would slice off a couple of slices of whether it was bologna or turkey or whatever, and she'd give it to the kids for free, and the parents would be so happy because the kids would be sitting there, eating their bologna or their turkey or whatever and not making a fuss. And I didn't know that everybody knew my nonna because it was, she was the, deli lady. And I remember being in high school and somebody brought her up randomly, hey, I saw the old deli lady, on Cedar Lane the other day. And I was like, what are you talking about? Remember the old deli lady at Acme? I was like, yeah, it's my nonna. They're like, no. I was like, no, I swear to God, she really is my nonna. And they're like, your nonna was the deli lady? She was some type of local hero for slicing off a piece of Munster cheese for a kid one day. It was ridiculous. But yeah, that was my nonna.
Who fully enjoys pub subs, I feel like I too would have been enthralled by her aura. Can I say an unpopular opinion about deli meat?
Yes.
I love, I don't know what it's called, but it's the bologna with the olives in it.
Oh, mortadella.
Whatever it's called, that's the best deli meat of all time.
Wait, what did you, because I said pickle loaf, Erica. What did you say?
Mortadella.
Okay, so the Americanized and the real version.
No, because mortadella is I believe it's a beef and pork mix.
Yeah.
And there is something called olive loaf, but I always thought that was a name brand and not the type of actual thing. But yeah, there's olive loaf, there's mortadella. I love myself some Genoa salami or some sopressata. Yeah. That's always really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some good
I'm just give me a buffalo turkey or chicken and I'm good. Y'all are.
I love buffalo chicken.
Living
in the South, I'm
I mean that's
doesn't get any better.
Phenomenal thing. But y'all are saying things not in English as far as I'm concerned here. That's what I feel like.
Sorry, I don't refer to my nonna as my grandmother because she's not my grandmother. She's my nonna. On the other side, it was grandma. On this side, it was always nonna.
I meant the kind of things you were talking about at the deli.
Oh,
prosciutto.
Oh my God! Please don't say that. Don't say mozzarella or prosciutto. A capicola.
Appreciate.
Wait. That makes me curious. I would say mozzarella.
It's mozzarella, yeah.
Okay, so that's the proper pronunciation.
Well, yeah, well, my family's off the boat. That's why.
Okay, I know. I just
like I'm
Erica
that
speaks
angry,
fluent Italian.
I'm that angry American who hates things like The Sopranos because people just think, oh, you're Italian and you're from New Jersey. I'm Italian. I'm from New Jersey. My family didn't come to this country until the late 1940s. So it's like. I know it's like, oh, where was your family, in 1846? Italy.
Yeah.
And
Are
my
you
dad's
second generation?
Well, see, that's the thing is it's a little squiffy on the details whether Nonna came over here pregnant or whether Nonna brought mom over.
Yeah.
So I believe that Nonna was pregnant when she came over, but on the other hand, I think, well, maybe, my mom didn't learn English until she went to school anyway. So, yeah. Technically I'm probably second, but I'm pretty close to first considering the fact that English is my mother's second language. So, yeah.
All I know is I wouldn't expect you to have mafia ties for some reason. It was like, there's only one guest that's been on the Quest, that being Brent Giuliano, where I'm like, man.
Yeah, he probably has mafia ties.
I
don't think Erica would need mafia ties. That's the thing.
No, I wouldn't because Dave Ebersol, who's a fantastic writer and actor and now director, so we were at a convention. Oh God, it was like a million years ago, and I had a terrible drive, and I walked in, and I was just like piss and vinegar in my veins. And I'm setting up my table angrily. And I was in a corner and I had one side of the table and Dave had the other side. And and Dave looks at me and he goes, do you know something, Erica? You're the patron saint of love and violence. And I was like, that is the greatest title ever. So so you know how when you pass away, you have mass cards, those little cards that have a prayer on the back. And usually on the front, it has a saint. So my goal is to take a photo like this. And then have the rays of light around me. And then on the back, it'll flip and it'll be Erica Schultz, the patron saint of love and violence. And then it'll be one of my really bad poems that I wrote back in high school when I was super emo.
I'm writing this down. I need you to know that.
I told AJ, I told Daryl, and I was like, Daryl, you have to make sure that this happens. And he goes, no, that's AJ's. I was like, no, man, I'm putting you in my will. You got to make this between you, Daryl, and Shannon. This has to happen.
Yeah. Yes. I'm going to make you a sick-ass jacket that says that. Oh, my God.
I just
have Erica Henderson embroider it.
I just kind of want this as an image. I put it up in the background of the questionnaire. I won't even lie. I don't want to see you pass, Erica. So let's not rush any of that in any way, shape, or form. But that is a phenomenal patron saint of love and violence.
Dave Ebersol came up with that. Yeah.
God bless Dave.
And Dave has a great podcast coming back. He has a comic called Dash, which is about it's basically what if Sam Spade was in the closet back in the 1940s in Los Angeles, and how you would have to navigate being true to yourself, but then also having the fact that being gay at the time was literally illegal. So he has this great book called Dash, and then he has a podcast now that season 2 is coming back, the Dash podcast too. So definitely check that out. I'm plugging you, Dave. So
tell him to come on the show, Erica.
I will email him and tell him to come on the show.
Tell him to. I've actually got Scott handling the booking now, which is kind of awesome. I kind of love that. I won't lie, right? I'm curious, how do you deal with balance and everything? You've done a lot of work.
You asking me or Liana, the actual guest?
Your quest is in 2 days. Erica.
Okay, so Liana.
Liana,
how do you balance all the work and all of the travel and all of the responsibilities that you have in this type of career?
I have an unhealthy love and work relationship. Work-life balance does not exist. I'm just kidding. If it wasn't for Kelly, my assistant, I would not turn in deadlines on time or travel in a relaxed and comfortable fashion. And multiple other things. She does a lot more than just that. She handles my shop and a couple other things, but she makes a lot of stuff happen, and I love her.
It is, man. I gotta look at this again, but I swear. Oh no, I gotta look and I gotta remember because was it. Yeah, because it says virtual assistant when she emails me, and I was
Kelly's
like,
a real person, though. Don't
okay,
I've met her.
that's okay, because I'll be honest, in the emails, I wasn't sure.
I gotta tell you, if I had time to like also be my own assistant, I would not be doing comics. So, as somebody who used to work in, marketing and communications and stuff like that, and I used to have 2 assistants back then, being able to let go and not, and trust and like give up things that you don't necessarily always have to like have control over is so freeing in so many ways. So Kelly and I had met at Heroes Con years and years back. She commissioned me. We kept in touch. She would see me at New York because she was local in New York. And one year, I think it was our friends at some point were like, they had assistants, and I was like, you know what? Like, I need somebody to do my invoices. I'd get paid on time more if I had somebody to follow up and be mean about it, So I just put out a call out on Instagram, and I had a couple people apply, but Kelly like reached out to me and was like, hey, I'm not quite sure what the the specs are for this job, and like I don't know if I necessarily have the qualifications, but like here's why I really want to do this job. And I was like, oh, you're hired. Like I immediately I was like, I need to interview you, and interview a couple people, officially, but I was like, you're right. Because it's nice to, work with somebody that her customer service to me as the customer and me selling her my work and stuff has always been great. So I was like, well, if she's that easy, and I get nonstop compliments about her and how amazing she is. So I clearly made the right choice. And I hopefully make her happy by giving her tons of
accolades,
job perks, accolades, I'm not sure about that, but definitely job perks and bonuses, and get to travel, and anytime I do a convention, I'm like, do you want to go, so
I will say she is a very, very excellent assistant, but that's the thing, that when it said virtual assistant, part of me was like, look, if this is some kind of AI, can somebody link me into it? Because it's really impressive.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd like to be able to use it for the purpose of the show if this is actually not a real person.
Don't bring AI into it, man.
I know. I don't want to look.
We are both so anti-AI.
But look, hey, okay, but let's say, I wouldn't necessarily want it for that purpose. It would be there are purposes for AI that would be positive, but I still think Alan Henry, who it amazes me that I'm playing D&D with Alan Henry, and that was freaking. He came. I'll tell you, him playing the Cocaine Bear. Go figure. He showed up to play in character. It was serious, man. It was in the Hannibal Thrones, right? But no, I think he made the greatest point for the point of AI, which is you can use it to replace CEOs because that's purely looking at analytics situations, and and why'd you cover your mouth?
Me or Liana?
No, that's just the most anti-capitalist thing I've ever heard. It's great.
Well, I've
never heard a good thing.
Look, if we want to get into a political discussion, this will go awry.
Not to avoid that, but we talk about AI all day, every day. That I'm just like, I want to have a good time.
I don't. Yeah, no. I ain't even trying to talk in that. I just think it's funny, and I think that's the greatest example of its use. But look, if we don't, because look, I was trying to make a PanCon, our comic books political, and man, a lot of people just don't want to do that one. And I think it's amazing because look, I think it's funny because any piece of art is going to be political to some degree. There's going to be some kind of meaning within it that you could make political if you wanted to. It may not necessarily be political, but you could definitely make any piece of art be political because
the reader can make it political.
Yeah.
Once it's out of the creator's hands.
Once the person is interpreting.
Absolutely. Art fulfills a lot of necessary factors in our life.
Yeah. And
the purpose of art is to elicit some type of reaction. Mm-hmm. Positive, negative, whatever. It's to elicit some type of reaction, some type of emotional impact. So, and if someone wants to take that piece of art as antagonistic and take it as political, then that's on them, So, unless the artist themselves strictly says the purpose of this piece is to, elicit, is to be pro something, anti something,
Are there a lot of, the only person I really know of is Pia Guerra, but are there a lot of comic cartoonists that do political pieces?
I think some of them. There's been a lot of comics artists that have been or comics creators just in general that have been very open about pro-Palestine. And things like that. And I think that, and I know that after there was an incident, I'm not going to get into it, but there was an incident where there was a cartoonist who, and I'll put it in quotes, was getting canceled. And a lot of people were coming up with either the pro, anti of that whole situation. It happened last year or earlier this year, rather. And so I know that a lot of people have sort of taken a side on that. But to be honest, anything can be considered political these days, whether or not, people were against the skin tone of Sunspot in X-Men 97. Some people were like, no, he should be darker. But the other thing that they didn't notice that Alison Seeley, who was the voice of Storm, said, if you notice, you put Storm from 97 versus the Storm from the original cartoon, and we darkened Storm's skin tone. And that, and Alice, I assume she uses she, her pronouns. My apologies if she doesn't. But this idea of we righted what we felt was a wrong.
Yeah.
So
I thought that show was incredible. Everything they did to...
I need to watch.
I have nothing but great things to say about it.
Yeah. And I will say this, because we all know my love for Gambit and Rogue. Everybody, after that episode, everybody who has been such a Gambit hater from the beginning, Eric Palicki, so many of you people who have been Gambit haters, every one of them was like, damn. I was like, yeah, Gambit took out a super duper Sentinel with his spleen.
He's a good guy.
I know he's
a good guy. Just a boy from the bayou. Let him live his life.
I know.
I know you love him. You gave me extra love for him. I love him so much.
Yep. Stop laughing, Factor, man.
What? No, I will giggle all I want to, Erica. Look, I've not had a chance to watch X-Men 97, and look, I know. Don't look at me like I need to watch the look.
Your face of shock actually accurate.
I'm okay.
Accuracy.
You know what? Until recently, I was running this show entirely by myself, and So look, there's stuff. I see if I'm gonna be swearing on the show, Erica. You see what you're doing?
Look, no, there are tons of things that I haven't watched either. So I'm just razzing you, dude. I'm just razzing you.
I got the Riz. All right, let's not razz. All right, leave it alone. All right, fine. All right.
I don't know what you youngins say these days.
I don't know what the youngins say these days. What are you talking about? I've seen some stuff.
Over 4th of July weekend, I begged my 3 nieces, Gen Z and Gen A, Alpha, right? I was like,
wait, there's a Gen A? What?
I think there's a Gen Alpha, right? Yeah. Anyway,
I'm actually writing
that's not
my
point
list of things to do. Google Gen Alpha.
The whole point of it was that I lovingly was like, please teach me all the slang that you guys say. Because I'm curious, when they're talking to each other, I'm like, what does that mean? Tell me what that means. And I got quizzed by the middle niece, and she was so proud of me because I knew so much already. I knew like she cooked, she ate, like that one, which is like you did a good job or like you killed it. And I was like, ooh, what would be a really fun thing to do is write down the millennial Gen X like era of slang and try to school them on it. And
rolls her eyes in Gen X.
I know. I was like, well, so far I can't really come up with anything because I think I still say all of it.
Yeah. So
I'm like not really thinking, it's just a normal part of my vernacular. I can't really like pinpoint like, oh, that's a piece of slang, but.
You call everybody dude still?
I do. Dude is gender neutral.
Dude is absolutely gender neutral.
Yes.
You call everybody dude. We both say dope.
Oh, yeah.
We both say cool all the time. And I'm like 12 years older than you are.
All I know is you brought Good Burger to my brain. All I know.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger.
Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Yeah. See,
The reason why I really know that is because AJ worked with Nickelodeon for so long. It's basically the only reason why I know. The only reason why I know SpongeBob is because of Caitlin. The only reason why I know a lot of the Good Burger stuff is because of AJ working for Nickelodeon and SpongeBob, him working on Nickelodeon. But I know the only thing I know about SpongeBob is whatever Caitlin tells me, because Caitlin is like the SpongeBob aficionado. So
I heard to write like a thesis, like a whole blog post of like must-watch episodes.
Oh, she easily could. For those who don't know, anyone who comes to my table at New York Comic Con, Caitlin is my young cousin, my uncle's granddaughter. And she is absolutely adorable and sweet and loves comics and loves animation, really big DC fan, loves The Flash, loves Wally West. That's what I should do. I should get Jason Spizak, who does the voice for Wally West in Young Justice, to record something for her birthday, because she's going to be 25 this year. That's what I should do.
We love Cameo,
I'm going.
What a great invention.
I'm going on the. It's going on the list. Yep. So yeah. Anyway, as
I recently met. So I've been doing a lot of Galaxy Cons, and this is perhaps a long-winded story for no payoff, but I get to tell it anyway because it's a podcast and you guys are great. So I accidentally met Dana Snyder, who is the voice of Master Shake. And
yes,
in context of a conversation that him and I were having, I was like, I don't want to tell you that I liked Aqua Teen Hunger Force, but I need to tell you this one piece of information in order to request from you to record a video for one of my best friends who was having a baby that month. She was having a hard time. Like the pregnancy was fine, but she was just like over it. You know what I mean? Like having a human being is hard, right? So I gracefully asked him, do you mind sending like a video? I know you probably get that all the time. He was like, no worries. Like he's so chill. And I told him this very embarrassing piece of information in which I almost, like very closely, almost got an Aqua Teen Hunger Force tattoo in my teens. Thank God I didn't. There was also another tattoo, a DC tattoo that I almost got, which also embarrassing.
Ass.
Also didn't. No, but it would have been Tim Drake, so close. And like, anyway, I tell him all this. He's laughing so hard. He's like so delighted that I told him this embarrassing piece of information and recorded this long-winded, I was just like 20 seconds, totally fine. It's a 5-minute and 38-second video for my best friend from high school. Pretty much just like, I don't saying congratulations about the baby, but like in the most insane way possible. Anyway, 10 out of 10. What a guy. Also on Cameo. Please go order his cameos.
Yeah, look. Firstly, that was a great
Please give
payoff.
Jackie my love.
Yeah, that was a great payoff. The second you said the dude that played Master Shake. All right, because I love Aqua Teen Hunger Force. All right, I love that. I will not sit here and say I don't love that show. I do. Come on. What's
Well,
wrong
he
with
knows
Aqua
now, but
Yeah. Like, what's
I will
wrong with
not
Aqua?
sit here and allow it to be blasphemed. I've never seen it, so.
I will send you 3 key episodes. And once you've watched those, you'll be like, I saw the whole thing.
Oh, wait. Now, I need to know what 3 key episodes they are then.
Well, what's his name? The onion one. It's the onion that's named after,
Where he's in the house and he's a monster?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then the sandwich one. And then, there's a Moonanite one, and I don't remember what the one with the brownie moth monster. Anyway.
Oh, where it's all the monsters.
Clearly, my special interest in my teens was Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and a lot of Adult Swim stuff, like Frisky Dingo was like in the realm of all that stuff.
Hey, look! I gotta shoot it out then. We just had Dave Propose on, right? Who's currently writing that Space Ghost that's dropping. All right.
Yeah, Space Ghost was one of my favorites too. Like, I was just listening to. I will have to plug, since this is a podcast. If you are at San Jose GalaxyCon, Dana and I are actually, I think, doing a book club panel, because it turns out him and I really love reading horror books, and that's how we ended up talking. And we are going to be reading 2 books. One is I have to pull it up because I do not remember anyway, it's The Great State of West Florida by Kent something, and then the other one is How to Murder Your Employer. And both, I'm halfway through, and they're both great. So anyway, if you're in San Jose, great. If not, join my Patreon. I'm going to be streaming it live if we do it. So
there's a link in the description to her website and everything for you to be able to get to all that, so y'all know. But
all Leon's goodies, but not those goodies.
How to Kill Your Employer.
How to Kill Your Employer. The McMaster's something is the subtitle, which is really fun. And then The Great State of West Florida is like a neo-Western futuristic anime vibes Western shoot-off. I don't even know. Like, it's amazing so far. So Alex Segura actually posted about it, and that's how I found it. Yeah, I found it.
Well, Alex is from Miami, so.
Mm-hmm. My Florida brethren.
I still need to get his Secret Identity. Yeah, Secret Identity.
Yes.
Yeah, I still need to
because the sequel's coming out soon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Everybody, look, do me a favor. Go over, check out the Patreon for QUESTionnaire, as well as hers, or as well as theirs. You know what I'm saying? There's links in the description of both. That way, hopefully, I can afford all these books from bringing all these creators on the show, because y'all write too much and do too much. And
we'll stop doing things just for you.
Don't do that. Don't do that, because in all sincerity, even if I don't get the pleasure of, going through and seeing whatever creative thing was done by whoever it was, I want people to be out there to be able to. Because look, I recently started a job and I had to throw away like a big old stack of books, and like I felt dirty. Okay, I felt dirty. You hear me? I had to throw away books that there was no reason they couldn't just go somewhere to be read by someone, and there were places that were available if you just donated them. But no. They wanted to do that OG comic book way. We're going to rip off the covers, send the covers back, and throw them in the trash. And I felt dirty, all right?
Do you have, so down the street from me, there is a guy who has one of those little, like, neighborhood library boxes. So do you have anybody like that in your area?
Yeah, you can make a fake cover for it.
Well, I mean...
Because what I do sometimes is when I walk past his house, as long as he's not out, because usually he'll stand outside in the driveway and watch me, which is kind of creepy. But what I'll do sometimes is I'll go over it because there was a lot of like trashy romance novels in there. So what I did was I pulled one out and then I replaced it with a bunch of comics.
Nice. Also, don't hate on trashy romance novels.
No, I don't hate on trashy romance novels. But to be honest, I don't read a lot because like I've
always to read for work.
Well, aside from the fact that I have to read for work, I've always been a very slow reader, and I just learned like more recently that I might have dyslexia. So I'm like, that would explain so much. Mm-hmm. And I remember I mentioned that to you because you said, yeah, I've been in the car with you and you don't know your left from your right. And
That's
true. I still don't know my left from my right.
But this is coming from the human that accidentally shut a trunk on your hand, so...
Not only did
neither one of us is
not only did Liana nearly take my hand off once, but Liana nearly decapitated me with their trunk once.
Oh,
or actually, correction, the decapitation I believe was with my trunk, and the taking of my hand off almost made me Luke Skywalker was with their trunk.
Listen,
yeah,
we joke, we have fun. We get violent once in a while. If we can't do that, then why?
That's why we call each other friends. Violence.
Yeah, exactly.
Liana's only tried to kill me 2, maybe 3 times.
You did say you made the short with you, so I guess you did.
So, you know.
All right. First talk of murder on the show, or at least attempted.
I'd never press charges.
She'd be like,
find my body.
I mean,
I'm so proud. I'm so proud of Liana.
Well, did you read my post the other day about the contractor saying, because everybody's, we had a huge flood in our house and our kitchen and our bathroom was all torn up. My office that's why I have nothing on the shelves because my office was torn up a bit. Oh. So we have people coming in and doing construction and stuff. And so you have to get all these people coming in from the insurance company and from, the rebuilders and then the tear downs and everything. And I will say this, I mean, God bless my husband for coordinating all of this because I wouldn't be able to tell you one person from the next because everybody's name is an A. We have Alan, we have Adrian, we have Alec, we have Alex, and then we have Elaine. And with an A though, not with an E, with an A. So my brain had melted from like Alan. But I will say this. So they were coming in and, we have comic books and comic book art framed everywhere. And they're like, oh, wow, you guys must really be into that like anime cartoon thing. And my husband's like, no, it's comics and my wife is a writer. And he's like, oh, really? Oh, wow, that's kind of cool. And so when the contractor came, he's like, oh, so you're the writer. And I was like, yep. And he's like, aren't you? And I was, on the couch with my laptop and I was writing. And he goes, aren't you supposed to have some big bottle of booze next to you? And I was like, no, I don't drink alcohol. It's a violation of my parole. And and he stops and he looks at me and I just look back at him and he's just like, we're going to do a real good job on your house, ma'am. I was like, yeah, I know you will.
Deadass. Oh, sorry. We're not supposed to curse.
That's PG-13. You can say that. That's PG-13.
Quality response from you, the homeowner, to someone putting their foot in their mouth. This is why when people ask me what I do locally, I just say I'm an artist, and that's it.
Why do you still think there is that stigma? I don't, and that's something we've discussed with so many creators.
What, of alcohol or being on parole?
Well, if you'd stop if you stop making Fabian mad to where he went and did things, then maybe you went into, and then you guys go do some joyride of murderous debauchery over there, blah, 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 Eric. Maybe you wouldn't be on parole, all right? You just need to stop it between you and Fabian. No.
She ran a very quality high-end heist with multiple people. There might have been, casualties involved. We don't know.
I don't even remember all the details myself. Yeah, I will say. So I was.
Sopranos could never. Is all I'm saying.
No, they could never write this. I remember when we did New York Comic Con in 2012. Basically, the only book we had on our table was M3, and the trade paperback had come out. And Vicente Alcazar, who's the artist on the book, we were both really proud of it. So what I did was I took the first issue of the book, and I had 100 copies made, and I was giving them out for free. And New York Comic Con is a 4-day show. It's Thursday through Sunday. And so what I did was I stood in front of my table. Vicente was behind the table, and people come, and Liana, you know this, people come up and it's like, oh, where's the guy that wrote the comics or whatever. So I stood in front of my table, and I did my cutesy girl voice, and I said, free comics from a pretty girl, free comics from a pretty girl. And I was handing out the free comics, and it actually really helped because people came back and was like, I really like this. And then they bought the trade. We did really well that show. So this one guy, I was like, free comics from a pretty girl. And this one guy goes, I don't want your free comic. I go, well, I don't want you to fucking have my free comic. And he like got so shooken by that. And I said, and he's like, I know you. We have the same parole officer, don't we? And I'm like, I don't talk about that, man.
What?
So that from that moment on, that became like the thing. I was like, all right. And then my friend Daryl.
Suddenly I have a parole officer.
Suddenly I have a parole officer. And so my friend Daryl, who's like my brother, whenever I am, he's because I don't drink alcohol. I've been clean and sober for 15 years now. And so my friend Daryl will say to me, look, if somebody's trying to pressure you into drink, just tell him you're going to call your parole officer. So what I do is I will call him and I will say, excuse me, sir. And that is his key to know that I'm calling, and he will act as my parole officer on the phone. And he is funny as hell. And Liana knows Daryl, so Liana knows how funny he is.
Love him.
And yeah, so Daryl is my parole officer.
I love having a friend as a parole officer, in quotes. What a good friend.
Daryl's the best.
Yeah.
Davey got a bath today. Davey is his lovely, gorgeous pit bull.
You have a
big old baby. Speaking of babies, my dogs need baths desperately. What? It is summer.
They sweat.
And they also have dual coats, both of them. So it's just fur house everywhere right now.
Oh, what kind of dog?
Can't get rid of it.
Super sheds.
I have two. I have a corgi, and I also have who's like a brindle cardigan, and then I have a rescue. She's like a pit bull Staffordshire shepherd mix. So she has Australian shepherd markings and stuff, but she has a big old pit bull head, but she's tiny.
That's an interesting combination. Yeah, see, because I got one that's Alaskan, or wait, what you just said, I can never remember.
Australian shepherd.
Yeah, Australian shepherd. And that thing, my dog sheds a lot.
Yeah. My brother has not one, but 2 Australian shepherds. And I said, in what world did you think that this was a good idea? 2 entire, chaos, pure chaos. Absolute.
And he has a child.
And a child, yeah.
Yeah. Chaos.
I don't feel like he thought that one through.
He did. I think he just loves to hate himself. Loves to make his life really hard. He never listens to my podcast anyways, so I can give him crap all I want.
I think that a sibling does not listen to my podcast. I will get a random text, be like, I don't think that was accurate, what you said on that podcast.
I hope he texts me, but I will think that my sister-in-law would text me first. So, and I would always say great things about her because she is wonderful. So,
yes.
Am I supposed to be answering? Huh?
You still awake?
Oh yeah.
You
there?
I was gonna ask if I'm supposed to be answering questions about pizza. I didn't know if we answered
frozen French bread pizza.
You know what? Fine.
Pizza.
Let's throw it back. Since Erica brought it up, right? Because you ever bought some frozen French bread pizza?
Yeah.
Just Red Baron, right? Red Baron, whatever, from the store, right? All right.
Red Baron,
What?
Stouffer's, man.
Whatever.
Stouffer's
I don't
nothing.
care whatever your brand is, Erica. You ain't got to get like all good. Like you branded by them. Come on now. You got a little bubble with their logo. Like I don't know if y'all seen branded. Sorry, but what happens
It's
to the
tattooed
top?
on my ass. Yeah.
Your parole officer thought it was a good idea, so it's free advertising.
But what happens to the tops? Because you never get a top when you get a frozen French bread pizza.
Oh, okay. I wasn't thinking of French bread pizza. I kind of have like an aversion to frozen pizza because my roommate of many years, who works in comics, named Jimmy Savage, was a notorious eater of frozen pizza. Hence my aversion to eating said frozen pizza and or pizza in general. I'm not a pizza guy, weirdly.
Okay.
Heinous, I know. I lived in New Jersey. I'm terrible. Yada yada.
You're not terrible.
You know, I will only eat Italian food made by said other person in this call, Erica Schultz.
Because I make homemade sauce when I make my baked ziti, and I don't use any sugar in my sauce. Because there are way too many.
The garlic bread is.
My garlic bread could cure world peace. I'm not even joking. Like, get all the world leaders.
Absolutely.
Like, I should go to the UN Security Council and just there with my garlic bread.
She doesn't need a third wish. She could just make the garlic bread and immediately, you know.
Joey Esposito had my garlic bread, and he thought he had died and gone to heaven. I'm telling you.
Well, I really like garlic bread. Now I want some. This ain't fair.
I do like calzones though, like from Little Caesars, like a folded over calzone. But I think it's only because of banana peppers.
I will tell you this: Nonna will refer to calzones as pizza, and
it's a blanket pizza.
It's a blanket pizza. So like I said, my family's off the boat, and the first time my husband came to dinner at my grandmother's house, he was very confused because my grandmother's Neapolitan. And if you know anything about Italy, you know that like Sicily and Naples are like, yeah, we don't really consider ourselves Italian so much sometimes. Like we're more like we're Sicilian or we're Neapolitan. You know, it's the Romans that are so stuck up. Don't even get me started on those Etruscans. So basically, my nonna was making Neapolitan pizza, and AJ shows up and he sits down and he is expecting like Domino's, and that is not what he's served. And he's very confused. He's very confused, and he looks at me and he's like, "What is this?" And I said, "This is pizza." Now, I know what regular pizza is when you think of pizza and everything, but I also grew up with this Neapolitan pizza, what my nonna would make. And he was just like, "What?" But I was like, no, don't, just eat it. The other thing though, and this is, some people get kind of like skeeved by this, but my grandmother is very big on like, you know, everybody's got to have their protein. Everybody has to, you know, if you eat a steak or if you eat any beef, it has to be like super rare because you got to get, you know, the protein and iron and everything. And so we had been there and she made bistecca, and it's, when I say rare, I mean, it's like purple, bloody and everything, cold. And so I'm eating it and AJ's totally grossed out. He's like, medium to well kind of guy.
He mentally like went to another plane of existence.
Yes, he did.
Could not.
But this was the part that really grossed him out. Nonna, now mind you, I finished the bistecca, and what do you have? You have a plate literally full of blood. And she hands me a piece of bread, and I take it, and he goes, what are you going to do with the bread? And Nonna looks at me, and she goes, "She eat the blood." And I did, and I was just like, and he's just like looking at me like, "I'm dating a vampire." Yeah.
I mean,
I would hope that people consider expanding their palate to eating at least medium rare steak once in a while because it is, if someone who cooks it does it right, it's
really
delicious.
Good. Yeah.
And that's coming from someone who really can't eat red meat.
That's the funny thing is like, I was spoiled as a child growing up with the culinary, just like amazement. That's why I can never go to Olive Garden, because everybody's like, oh, it's Olive Garden, it's Italian food. I'm like,
it's McDonald's.
Yeah, Olive Garden is the McDonald's of Italian food for me. And I know I'm a snob because I don't do Olive Garden, but that is a hill I will die on.
I think food and culture in general is very interesting. Like I follow, Sarah Gailey's Stone Soup, which is their newsletter, and they like integrate a lot of stories by different authors and creators about food. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really interesting because like I'm not a cook, but I've been actively trying to learn how to cook things over the past year or two to like as like an act of like love for people that I love and, like providing for them. Right. But when I grew up, my grandma, most of us, my family's Finnish, so they like primarily focused on like baked goods, and finding baked goods that are similar to like my Grammy's, like rugula or like breads that are like primarily made around holiday time or things like that. It's almost impossible to find, but I feel like, there's a lot of places in New York and like big cities where you can find things that are fairly similar. And I have found a couple, which is great. But
someplace in Memphis where you are, or?
No, I have to order it on Goldbelly. God bless that service for existing, honestly. And it is very close. Like very, very close to my great grandma's bread. And the first time I ate it, my friend found it and shipped it to me as like a birthday gift. And the first bite I took, I literally cried because I was like, I have not had this in like over a decade. I didn't even know what it was called because, it's in Finnish. So I couldn't tell you, So I have praised, it's a place in New York. I forget what it's called, but anyway, we're talking about food. I did just eat dinner, but now I'm like, I would really like dessert right
now. All I know is I took my boy into Olive Garden a while ago to cut back to that, and like he was straight offended by the smells in there. So, man, he was like, "Get me out of this place."
Look, I used to work at an ad agency a million years ago. That's actually where I met my husband. We both worked there, and he at the time was working on the Olive Garden count, and he was sitting with the client, and he was saying, my wife's family's off the boat. She doesn't like Olive Garden because, she was trying to like focus group him while he was working with her. And she's like, no, she should really try it. All of our chefs are trained in Italy and this, that, and the next thing. So she comes in the next day with 2 $100 gift cards to Olive Garden for him. And as a way of being, and she said, take your wife to dinner on us kind of thing. He comes home with these gift cards and I'm like, no.
You said this is a disgrace to my family.
How
dare you bring
my mamina will rise from the grave. Okay? The woman who never spoke English and would only sit in a dark room and watch wrestling all day and shout at you in Italian. Mamina would rise from the grave and like break my hand if I even touch those gift cards. Okay?
Incredible. And
so I was like, you know what? The church is having a raffle and they're looking for prizes for the raffle. We're donating them to the church. There you go. Two $100 gift cards to Olive Garden. Perfect. Get them out of my house. There you go.
I love hearing about like heathenist things from people, like as if they even like ventured or thought to do something that one of their family members would crawl out of the earth and be like, how dare you? Because I don't really have a lot of that, but I do have one small thing in that I think my dad would crawl out of his grave if I purchased one of his least liked cars or car brands, which I will not name. But
these are potential sponsors, yeah.
Yeah. He was a mechanic, so like if I had ever purchased a vehicle like that, he'd be like, "Oh hell nah, get the like get out of that grave." And
I will say I do something that is still to this day is considered, they're going to take my card from me. You are not supposed to put cheese on any type of fish, whether it's linguine with clam sauce or like black.
Not even with shellfish?
No.
Okay,
no.
I don't do it with fish, but shellfish?
Well, this is the thing. Yes, you're not supposed to. And so, like, if you have black linguine or anything like that, you're not supposed to. And so Christmas Eve, you have this huge dinner where everything, you have the Feast of the Seven Fishes and everything. And my grandmother would always make linguine with white clam sauce. And I would grab the grater. This grater is older than I am, seriously. And I would grab the grater and she would smack it out of my hands because
that kicks it across the room.
She would like tackle me if I had the audacity. But when I go out to dinner with friends, I'm like,
oh, much like you better throw it behind your shoulder, Liana.
Yeah. I'm all about the salt over the shoulder. Yes.
We were having breakfast in Lexington a couple months ago, and I'm like half awake, like getting eggs from like the buffet or whatever. We had just worked out. I was tired. We witnessed like actors working out in the gym. It was very disorienting.
Yes.
And so I like go to like shake some salt in my hand to like put on my eggs, and she goes, like, excuse you, like stopped me in my tracks, and I was like, like what? And she's like, you have to throw it behind your shoulder. And I was like, okay, and like did it. And I was like, why? And so she told me, the superstition of like needing to throw salt.
It blinds the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now I do it at restaurants, and everyone's like, what are you doing?
I do it every time I cook. I do it every time I cook, and my husband used to get really pissed at me because I would be cooking in front of me, and then I would throw it over. Yeah, and he would get really pissed at me. And so now what I do is I turn my back and I throw it over my shoulder, so it's going into the pot or close to going into the pot. This way I don't have salt literally littering my entire floor. But my floor is getting ripped up tomorrow, so it doesn't matter. So yeah. So as they're ripping up the floor. Say again?
Did you at least get to pick the new floor?
Yes, we did.
Okay, good.
We're doing something that's like a lighter color in the kitchen, because you know how the kitchen was like a dark wood? We're doing a lighter color. So this way, and we have lights now in the kitchen. Oh, Liana, you flip the switch. And
overhead lights?
You can see your hand in front of your face now.
I can go put water in my cup and actually see what I'm doing.
Yes.
The only form of light in that kitchen was during the daytime from the window.
Basically, yeah. The lighting fixture that they had. The lighting fixture that they had in the ceiling was off center and terrible. And we changed the bulb. We tried all these different things to try and make it work, and it was terrible. Now we have 4, what do they call them when they're in?
Recessed lighting?
We have 4 recessed, giant, beautiful, bright lights. I turned the light on. I was like, oh, it was so bright. I was amazed. Yes.
For a kitchen, that's lovely. I love that for you.
Yes. And I will cook whatever you want next time you come over.
Yes. 4-course meal.
I feel like I need to come down that way and be like, hey, Erica, can I get some food?
I'll cook. I won't eat, but I'll cook it. That's a very Italian grandmother thing to do, is you'll cook for everybody.
Because you're eating the whole time.
You'll cook.
Essentially.
And you're tasting the entire time, and by the time you serve everything, you're not even hungry anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But Liana, what
all
are
I know
the
is,
three
we've
things
not
that you
gotten
would
any
do?
any of Ilana's work, man. Which is, it's there's one thing that really stuck out and like had me be like, well, I gotta hit them up, which is Trve Kvlt. That's how that's pronounced, right? I mean, I know it's a V.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Trve Kvlt.
But I'm like, if you're telling me you don't pronounce it Trve Kvlt, then would you please pronounce it for me? Because I cannot pronounce that.
We've gotten so many different pronunciations. It's great. I try to record all of them.
Kvult.
Trve Kvlt was my favorite.
Trve Kvlt. Oh yeah, if you tried to pronounce, no, okay. I'm like, there's no, yeah. What's the whole story there? Like, I'm so annoyed I didn't get to read that in all sincerity. It's one of those things of.
Oh, I can't ruin it for you. That's one of my favorite books that I've done. You have to read it.
Yeah, but you give them the log line.
It's Good Burger meets The Italian Job meets Empire Records. Like, I couldn't even tell you for it to provide accuracy.
It's horror, it's comedy, it's crime caper.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Sort of.
Good Burger meets, what was the Italian Job meets Empire Records.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. It's that good.
It's quite interesting.
It's quite a mashup.
Like, I gotta shake my head from that, because like that's very, yeah, the mesh of those three things specifically is because I loved Empire Records. Like I dug that movie back in the day, you know. I really, really did. I wish there was a record store because the record store I went to was way, 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 way smaller, you know. But that was just the size of the town. What made you put that combination together?
Well, Scott and I met actually around the time that Erica and I met, and he wanted to collaborate. He was like, hey, I dig your work. And I was like, same. I didn't realize like I had a couple issues of like Batman and stuff that he did. And we had emailed back and forth, and I was like, I really like heist movies. I like weird shit. I like horror. And like at the time I was working on a Black Mask book, and, you know, I didn't really know that you could do like creator-owned work off the bat like that. And so I had worked on a Vault book in between. And when I was like kind of wrapping that up, we started talking about more ideas and stuff, and Trve Kvlt kind of came to fruition, and it was a great idea. And I asked to like change a couple things just so I would have more fun drawing it. And he was like so supportive and like amazing. And then we met up at New York Comic Con and met up Jaslyn, who's also on the book, and then Gab, who's on the book, and Jimmy and DC Hopkins. And then we ended up doing it and decided, because of the pandemic and like because it was greenlit somewhere and then it didn't go through because the pandemic hit, blah, blah, blah. We crowdfunded it on Kickstarter. It was very successful. IDW picked it up. We were able to like add a little bit extra and then like put it into trade, so that way the backers could get like a good version that they've waited for and like did. So like the Kickstarter got everything first. And then when we re-released it with IDW, we added extra pages and like things to incentivize, like if folks really enjoyed the Kickstarter, like, well, if you buy this, like you'll get extra stuff, like, so that way you're not just buying the same thing over again. And it's been something that Scott and I have always talked about in terms of like world building. It's definitely like a world that will always be something that we consider. And we're, you know, like anyone I've collaborated with before, likely I'm collaborating with again. Like there's many people that I want to work with again, but my main loves are horror and sci-fi. And so when I get to work with good friends that also love that, it works out great. And I think Trve Kvlt is like very much a good representation of what it's like to have a collaborator that you get along really well with, you communicate really well with, you have a very specific type of story that you want to tell with like certain undertones. So yeah, I highly recommend everyone pick it up. It's actually, I mean, I'm just going to say it on here. It's actually sold out on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure it's sold out at Diamond. So
That is
hope
amazing.
you can get it from your comic shop.
Well,
Yeah, thank you.
congratulations. Yeah,
That's
yeah, that is
amazing,
phenomenal.
dude.
So ask your comic shop if they can order it from Penguin. I'm not sure, but I'm sure there's used copies out there, you know. And you can get it digitally, I think, through some places like Comixology or whatever.
That's awesome. So fucking cool.
Now I just gotta, out of sheer curiosity, because y'all can go to the website there, right down below. You can go to Alana's website, right, and you can click on that and add it to cart from her website, or from their website. Yeah, you can. So from their website, you can purchase that. So you know.
And Liana will sign it.
And
yeah, I would.
so if they get it from your website, you'll sign it.
Oh yeah, and I always sign for free. I don't charge for that.
Oh, I figured since that was coming from Penguin Books, that's not something that would come across your desk.
Oh, if it's coming from Penguin directly, I don't sign it. But if it's coming from I have a web store that's frequently updated, and I'm not sure if I have TrueCall on there.
Well, because I'm on your website, you can go to where it's the books you've worked on. You can click on TrueCall.
Oh, yes. The bookstore.org link, or the Penguin link.
Yeah. It shoots you over to Penguin.
So that might be the only place you can get it now. I'm not sure.
Well, somebody has all the original copies, you know, just saying.
That's true.
Yeah.
Your good friend always has the original copies.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Oh wait, oh, you got any of those Kickstarter versions left, or are those all gone?
Me?
Yeah, you
gone a million years.
Oh yeah, those are. I think we saved like 2 copies for like the archive for us, and that was it.
This is a big gone.
I have tons of single issues that I sell at conventions. Issue 1 is pretty much sold out, so if you want 2 through 5, I got your back. Some great variant covers from Marie Levitt, like amazing.
That would drive my brain insane. What was the process of that, though? I mean, you initially run it through a Kickstarter, and then it does end up getting picked up by IDW. And I think it's funny because, I mean, Erica had that happen in a very similar situation fairly recently.
At least bouquet.
Right? Yeah. See, I got the Kickstarter version of that, whatever. So.
That means you have a foreword written by yours truly.
The Kickstarter version has the foreword by Liana. The Image Comics version does not. And Liana, if you have the singles of the Image Comics version, Liana did a variant cover, of which I have the original inked version that they gave me for my birthday a few years ago. So
it's one of my favorite covers I've ever done. It has the most insane Easter eggs of all time, including my signature as an Easter egg.
Yes, by the way.
Now I've seen so many covers for the deadliest bouquet. Now I want to know exactly what that cover was, to be real honest, because of, I mean, Liana
did. There were 3 covers for issue number 1. There was the A cover, which was by Adriana Mello. There was the B cover, which was by Liana, and then the C cover was by Natasha Alterici. And Liana's cover was had a lot of purple hues. And I'm not going to get up and get it off the wall because it's like way high up.
It's Poppy, right?
It's Poppy, who is making like a pancake batter, and she has a gun in her belt, and she has a knife in her hand, and she's on the phone. And because the story takes place in the 90s, it is like your 90s cordless phone from back in the day. So.
Doing that cover was probably one of the best, most fun throwbacks of all time. Also, doing like a domestic cover that has like slight insidious undertones is very much my vibe.
It reminded me very much of Lady Killer.
Oh, that's a huge compliment. Oh, Joelle. It
reminded me very much of the vibe from Lady Killer. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
And yeah, you got to put a lot of little Easter eggs in that cover, being that I've read that book like Like, I'm looking at that cover like, yeah, that's...
Well, it helps that you get to read it ahead of everyone. So.
Yeah. Liana had copies of this book, like, well in advance. Like, well in advance. Yeah.
And also, shout out to Kurt, who helped me, like, gave me great notes on colors. Because using purple tones in printing, obviously huge, but he also helped me with the lighting that I was really trying to nail down. And he's a great, anyone that doesn't follow his YouTube channel, Colors with Kurt, I think, is like, you're missing out.
Process is really cool.
Yeah, Color with Kurt Michael Russell. He has an entire YouTube channel. It's free, but also, you know, you can, like, I think, go on his Patreon. He's how I learned to flat. He's how I learned to color. Like, he's an incredible educator, and also, like, I would say a great peer that would, you know, the fact that he gave me feedback on that was so great. Like, you know, just really sweet.
I love to see that within the entirety of the comic book community. You see so many people that will give constructive criticism, and typically you don't see a lot of where constructive criticism is taken egotistically, I'll say. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, there's a lot of people that just want to be better at what they do. They just want to be challenged and challenge themselves artistically and everything. And when you get into a group of people that all have that same ethos, then it helps, because it's not this, you're not looking at everybody like they're a piece of meat, and you're not looking at everybody like they're some rival. No,
and you're not judging them.
Yes. And you're allowed a vulnerability, because you know that they're vulnerable too, you know. And I think that that's so important. And like, and Kurt's channel is great, and the fact that you felt comfortable to reach out and be like, hey, can I run this by you? Like, there's been plenty of huge names that you've, like, worked with, because you're like, hey, I'm doing this cover, I'm doing this layout. Can you just take a look and let me know if it's reading right and stuff? And like, I mean, I'm not going to name drop because it's not my place, but I mean, you've worked with a lot of, like, big names that have, you know, given you pointers, and that's basically, like, that's what you want in this business. You want people who are going to help you and who are going to be honest, but also, like, their goal in being honest isn't to, like, crap on you. Their goal is to make you better. And I think
they recognize you're not competition, that you're in a totally different point of your career, that, like, they value your position in the industry as well, or can respect it in a way. I'm trying to think of, like, some of the people, but, like, Paul Azaceta is definitely one of them, you know, and he ended up helping us out and, like, doing a variant for She Said Destroy. He's always been, like, a huge support. And, like, who else? Is there any? Yeah, I really liked his work a lot, but I don't know if he's ever given me feedback. But Christian Ward, who?
Beasley.
Oh yeah, Simon Beasley. Like, when I worked on 2000 AD, like, having somebody who is very, you know, well known for his work with 2000 AD, for him to, like, come up to me and, like, say, hey, I really loved your work on
Future Shocks,
Tyranny Rex, and, you know, I adore his work. And so, like, it's nice to have any type of, like, person in the industry that's willing to have an open door for, like, questions and discussions. Like, that's how Erica and I met. Like, I read her blog before a signing, and I just was real with her, and I was like, hey, I really enjoyed reading your blog. I like your writing a lot. If you ever want to chat, let me know, you know. And sometimes
I live down the street.
Yeah, sometimes it works out. Like, sometimes you really are just getting peer feedback, and that's it, right? But sometimes it's nice because you can meet somebody that you really get along with. And for somebody like me who moves around a lot, it's helpful for me to, I've made some amazing connections from comics, from just reaching out and asking, or like reaching out on social media and being like, hey, I really liked your work. Like, as someone who used to work in a comic shop and also collects, it's a lot easier for me because I have dealt with creators, and I understand that that might not be easy for other creators starting out, but the worst they could say is no. And the reason why they would probably say no is because they're busy, like say at a convention with a line or anything like that. But please ask questions. Like, I love when creators come up to me after panels or like to my booth and like just ask me tons of questions. Because if not me, who else are you going to get it from? I'd rather give all the information and knowledge that I have so you don't have to like remake, not mistakes, but like redo all this like time and effort and like stuff when I could like boost you up and like you could get a head start and like go a lot faster than I did,
Real quick.
There is an openness and a willingness to Liana that I think is really needs to be appreciated. So.
Oh yeah, no. Hey, real quick, give me 1 sec. Sorry, I need to.
So I'm not staying up past 10:45. You got 14 minutes. Put my
Man,
down.
I was bloody well rude. I got a freaking time limit. Yeah, like whatever. Look, I'm gonna drag you into the D&D game for that. Or actually, for that, I'm just gonna make you.
You want to know when the last time I played D&D? 1987.
Yeah, I was about to say, you'd be really good at it, but I feel like you would have no patience for it.
Paige and Claire tried to get me. Paige and Claire Connolly, two phenomenal artists, twins, love them both. Again, other people that live in the area. They were trying to get me in on D&D, and Paige and I had a really long car ride together, and they were explaining something about it, and I was like, but that doesn't make sense. But this doesn't make sense. And they were just like, no, it's you don't, it doesn't matter. Like, you're picking the story apart, Erica. I was like, but I don't understand, because you said that this is, and then you know what? You would be horrible to play with, Erica. And I was like, okay.
Because you're a rule follower, or at least a structure follower, right?
Like, yeah, because
you have to know the ins and outs, and like
I have to know the rules of the world and this and the next thing. And if you tell me that X is Y, then you tell me X is Z. I'm like, but no, you told me X is Y. So yeah, so Paige was like, yeah, you'd be the worst to play with, Erica. I take it all back. I was like, all right, sorry. So yeah, I'm not playing D&D anytime soon. I played Magic the Gathering a little bit in college, but I never made my own decks because I didn't know enough about it. And my friend Kevin, what he would do is he would build 2 decks. He would build a deck that is like ultra powerful, and then he would build like basically a beginner deck with like 1 good card in it, and he'd give me that one. And if
every Magic player would do that.
And then if I pulled that 1 good card, I'd be like, I am king of the world. So yeah, because it was 1997, and everybody said that then.
We'll get into that more in just a couple of days when we're questioning with you. But Leon, what I want to know, because we've gotten into a number of things, but there were 2 questions I swear I on the questionnaire you didn't get. I'm kind of like, I kind of want to just get your 2 answers for those. Like, I couldn't even tell you what the questions are without looking at both the questionnaires respectively. But that's besides the point. I know it's a good one, right? But I want to know, what's the best piece of advice you would give for someone that was just like, hey, I can draw or I can write, and I would like to get into comics? What are the steps to make it
do
to
both?
Where, huh?
Write a 2-page comic and draw and write it. Like, just do it yourself. Don't give yourself any boundaries, but give yourself a deadline. The problem is that a lot of us want to create, and the options are limitless. And so because the options are limitless, we strive for a lot larger of a goal and vision than what we can feasibly obtain. And so when you're starting out in comics, I was lucky because I looked up Facebook groups and, like tried to find shorts. And so I started in anthology work. I started solely in anthology work. Erica is one of the reasons why I got into comics more prevalently and I think faster, because she invited me to the Where We Live Image anthology. I had also done the Mine anthology, which was award-winning. All We Ever Wanted by Wave Blue World, like all these are award-winning like anthologies, but it's because, like I would set smaller goals for myself, which are smaller, scripts, 3 pages, 8 pages, whatever, a deadline, you have an editor, you work with folks that you've never met before. And so you kind of learn on the job, not only how to be a comic artist or like how to work in the industry, but also you're flying by the seat of your pants to draw sequential pages, which I was not taught in an academic setting. I'm just a comic collector. I'm a comic reader, and I would draw comics for fun. So I think, as someone who has learned on the job and who I think I'm an incredible storyteller, I think that you can learn it in both practice and, like reading work that you love, reading stories that you love by other artists, other creators, other writers, and starting small and giving yourself, I have a lot of students that are going into college or that are in college asking me to be their mentor. And most of the time I give them 3 things to do. One is do your portfolio website. If you don't have any pages for your portfolio, make some, find a script online, find 2 pages from a Marvel script, find 2 pages from your favorite comic and redraw in the way that you would want to draw it, like a retelling. And then the second part of that is do sequential pages. And the third part is, find community and groups for you to access and like get to know, because your cohort, so to speak, the people that you are going to grow with, I was in a weird spot of my cohorts where I was in between, I think, 2 or 3 of them. And because of that, I'm primarily in indie comics. I'm not in big 2, but most of my friends in comics are in DC, Marvel, things like that. But I do fun, weird things, IP, Star Trek, Star Wars, stuff like that, things that I'm interested in. But I think a lot of that is because of the cohorts that I like grew with, and like, we were all published at the same publishers at the same time, or we worked together or whatever. And we all found each other from Twitter or Tumblr or Facebook groups, And I know that social media landscape is a nightmare hell right now, but Blue Sky still exists that has a great comics community on there. And I know that there's a couple people that are trying to get Discord servers back and stuff. So I would say those 3 are going to be your key assets.
Don't, you just made my head hurt, because I'm like, that means I got to deal with more social media. And I haven't, I think I have a Blue Sky. If I remember searching properly, there is a Discord for the questionnaire. It's actually how we're running the games over there, led by Hannibal. And Erica, I will say, I think you would be fine in the game we're playing, but that's only because Hannibal, the DM, I've seen a lot of DMs in my life, and you know what I mean? And then I see Hannibal DM, and I was like, well, that's a...
I'll be honest, I don't have the time for D&D. I would love to get into it, but I can't. Like,
we'll just bring you in and kill you off then. How about that? 1 episode.
If dude, I don't even have time for that. I don't even have time for that. This entire time, I've been weaving a bracelet this entire time.
I've noticed. Yeah, but look, that's what I'm gonna start planning, because look, Alan Henry's gonna be playing with us monthly. That's the guy that had the Cocaine Bear. So I'm just gonna start bringing in random comic book creators for every episode. And by the time I'm gonna tell Hannibal, I'm like, look, you killed them before this it's over.
I honestly, the learning curve for me for D&D would be too high. That's what I genuinely think. And also the entire time I'd be like, but why doesn't, I'd be questioning everything. I would be the worst D&D player ever. Paige was right. I would be the absolute worst. I would get kicked off the island so quickly.
Liana, was the last time
Survivor rules?
Huh?
I said, are these Survivor rules?
I mean,
always.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of life. Before I mean, you're the one over here. What was it? And with that, I end you all. Like with that, I end you all.
Listen, I had a Twitch channel a long time ago, and it was me misspeaking, and then it became my sign off, which is wild. I miss those Twitch days. That was really fun. I used to draw on Twitch and have community hangout, but I'm too busy now.
I was going to say, who says you can't do it again? But that's why you need one of your wishes to be to
have infinite money,
to be able to stop time,
or that.
Yeah,
I think stopping time would get a little lonely, though.
I would stop time and I would sleep for like a month.
And
then I would come back. Yeah, I would just sleep for a month. And then I would come back and I wouldn't have to worry about my deadlines because I stopped time.
No, look, I think stopping time, like, you getting, like, everybody's getting tired, so I think it's time. Right? To end it all. Liana, It's been a pleasure just listening to you all, man. We've hardly talked comics at all, and more Italian food than anything else. And, like, I kind of want to do something that I did to Elena, to Erica, but we'll do that at the end of her quest and see if she flinches when I do it. Yeah.
Probably not. You know the shit I've seen on the inside, man? You can't make me flinch.
All right, Liana, so I hope you have enjoyed your quest, and I hope everybody out there has too. Check out the links in the description. You can check out a bunch of the work and Liana's done, as well as stuff we have talked about, stuff we haven't talked about, and we didn't talk about many comic things. We talked about
have me on anytime. I will talk less about Italian food and more about comics.
I don't know, man. I kind of enjoyed the Italian food conversation.
Oh, I did too, but now I'm hungry.
It really, me too, to be real honest. It's funny, my boy Malta just a frozen pizza earlier, but he's 5. Give him a break, Erica. You can't be mad at the 5-year-old, all right?
I'm not mad at I'm not mad at children because they don't know any better, but if I ever made a frozen pizza, my grandmother, my mamina, my great grandmother would literally crawl out of her grave and beat the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she would. And that woman was 6 feet tall the day she died. So I don't know how tall she was because everybody shrinks. I don't know how tall she was before that, but she was 6 feet tall at the age of 88.
This makes a lot of sense as to how tall your brother is.
No, but my dad's on my dad's side, my grandfather on my dad's side was like 6'4", 6'5". So yeah, we had height on both sides.
Wait, how tall are you?
I'm only 5'5". My sister's 5'10" though. My brother's
That's what I thought. Look. You said you were done in 3 minutes, but you won't let me end the show, Erica.
End the show. I'm done. Ho finito adesso. Fa che tu deve fare.
No idea what that meant.
I said I'm done now. Do what you have to do.
Oh, well, it's not what I have to do. I want to let you know. For everybody out there, if you've enjoyed this, man, check out all the links in the description. Like I said, you can find all kinds of good stuff from Liana. But if you have enjoyed this interview, right, what I want you to do, right, is I want you to send. Wait, where did you not answer? Did you not answer? Yeah. A harpy? Make it a nice one. Make it a nice harpy, but a harpy. All right? Right? With a big old thing of tacos, like some good homemade, like really, really good tacos and a plate of almond joy. Right?
Out of context, I do not remember what those questions were because I answered those 7 to 8 months ago.
Well, that happens sometimes. Right? Now, if
you do have the same favorite candy bar, though.
We do? Butterfinger? Almond Joy.
Almond Joy.
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't enjoy this quest, and for some reason they've just bugged the crap out of you, man, I don't know why. It's been an interesting Italian food conversation, right? But what I want you to do, right, is send a libbit? What is a libbit? What is a libbit?
Labbit. It's these things.
Oh, so send just a bunch of labbits, right? All to just smell a fried dough, to tie her down, and play for her endlessly. Zack Snyder's Watchmen, just on repeat while they're just jumping around, smelling a fry.
Now I
Yeah.
understand the question
Right.
aspect. Okay.
Right.
Personal torture.
I mean, hey, but also, if they see you out at the con and you're hungry, maybe they'll give you an almond joy, It'll go a lot of ways.
I would love that.
Hopefully it goes the way of the positive. Because in all honesty, if they've hate watched the episode just to get to this point, man, at least I hope, you did one of those three things. That first one being a thumbs up. The second being always get your Comic-Con. That third, have a good night, y'all.
This has been the questionnaire.
Where's the link?
Thanks for checking out the questionnaire.
In the link below, yes?
I will drop it like it's hot.
That's another party.
It's cool, man. I love it.
The questionnaire. That is all.